From Scripps Sports, this is Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
The first Big Sky win is in the books. The Bobcats drubbing the Eastern Washington Eagles 57-3 in front of a Bobcat Stadium record 22,000 plus on Saturday. Hello, everybody. I'm Keaton Glockley alongside Grace Lawrence. We've got head coach Brent Vegan joining us in a bit, and defensive end Hunter Parsons is in studio as well. All right, Grace, let's talk about this Bobcat offense. 57 points, 8 touchdowns by 7 players from 6 states. That was a heck of a performance.
That's a whole lot of the map of the U.S. covered with those stats. But, I mean, even the punter, Colby pulled off that trick play, a super athletic kid. That's what we were told all throughout fall camp. Really making a statement. He even mentioned during Monday media, I asked him, when did they drop the play? He said, I was in class one night this week, but I learned it, obviously, by Saturday.
Yeah, fun to watch Colby Froker score a touchdown. He was actually a wide receiver and safety in high school, but found a way to get into the action here as a punter as well. And the other thing we got to see from this offense as well was big play offense. It's been something a lot of people have been asking for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and it was so many different players. You think about the game last year against Eastern Washington, that's what gave them the win. And I think as we've seen Justin Lampson get more comfortable in the offense, he joined the team a little bit later during fall camp, learning that playbook a little bit later. He's looking comfortable.
Absolutely. That was 6 touchdowns of 25-plus yards in the victory against Eastern Washington. A fine performance for the Bobcat offense. We'll talk a little defense later, but first, we've got head coach Brent Vegan joining us after this timeout on the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Back on the Bobcat Insider, Keaton Glockley alongside head coach Brent Vegan. Coach, you got one game under your belt in the Big Sky. How you feeling coming off this win?
Yeah, it was definitely the type of performance we were after. I know to have that fast start, defense getting the stops, offense really striking fast. It was what we were after. To be up 24-0 at a blink of an eye almost. That was great, but more so we kept going. I thought as we got more guys in the game, they performed well, and we really got everybody in that could be in. So it doesn't happen often. So excited about that. Well,
and certainly the big plays was something you talked about a lot, even on this show last week. We got to see that. 6 of those 8 touchdowns were 25-plus yards, including 2 over 40 yards. A lot of different ones. I think one of the ones certainly that stands out was the Justin Lampson pass to Taco Dollar. That one seemed like one of his best touch passes of the year. What did you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Taco's tough to cover. We got him matched up on a linebacker, but still the ball needed to be put in a perfect spot, and it was. That was one of those one-play drives. You like those as a coach, but I think Justin's continuing to come along. He's got the ability to, I think, throw the ball really well, make all the throws, and he's continued to demonstrate improvement each and every week. So excited about what he's doing and will continue to do.
Well, one of the other really impressive throws that maybe went a little under the radar was that touchdown pass to Jabez Woods. First of all, congrats to Jabez Woods, his first career touchdown, but that was like a 40-yard throw on a rope. What did you see on that play?
Yeah, really good read. An opportunity that we didn't think was going to come about, and then we get that 2-minute opportunity. We get a good gain on first down, kill the clock, and then he was able to get in the end zone on that just a third play, and it was a great ball by Justin. It was a really good adjustment by Jabez to be able to open up and make that catch right at the pylon.
Yeah, how is Jabez Woods coming along? Such a collection of pass catchers this year, and it seems like he's flown under the radar a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a role that's maybe specific compared to the other guys, I guess, but I think he's done really well. I think what we saw out of him in spring and fall is you get the ball in his hands, he can do some things, and I think that showed up. He's got a couple opportunities to kick return game, and I hope as we go along, the ball continues to find him more and more.
Well, Adam Jones, for all the talk of maybe a slow start, another 2 touchdowns this week. I feel like this year so far we've really seen both the speed and the strength. The speed for that longer touchdown run, the strength running over a cornerback. What are you seeing in that mix from him?
Yeah, he's more complete than he was last year. A year older, a year wiser, I suppose. Just the off-season in the weight room as well. So, I like what Adam's been able to do so far. It's been a tough go at times. I think teams have really stacked up against us, and the opportunities have been not as plentiful maybe to get out in the open. But when he is out in the open, he can make it happen, and we saw that on Saturday.
Also making it happen in the special teams, which was another mixed bag this week, but for Colby Froker getting in there on the fake field goal. How is Colby kind of adjusting and settling in with all of his new duties and then finding a way to get into the end zone?
Yeah, I think just trying to really find consistency. There was a lot of volume in that game from a kickoff perspective, and for the most part, he did really well. Did kick the one out of bounds. Punting-wise, not a lot of opportunity, but his punt down to the 1-yard line was tremendous, and that really set up the opportunity for the 2-minute drive. And then we saw his athleticism. I think he can be a weapon back there, both in the punt team and the field goal team, as a potential guy that can run the football, and we saw that on the fake.
Now, for Miles Stanstead, the blocked field goal, 2 missed PATs, got back on track. But what did you see on that missed field or the blocked field goal? Was there something there that's an easy adjustment?
Oh, maybe a combination of just a little bit of penetration and the ball coming out low. It was, I think, 42-yarder. So to get him back out and get right, I guess, as the game went on was important. I think he probably just rushed the other 2 extra points. I think when you get a kick blocked as a kicker, you try to adjust, and really you have to be right yourself. You got to count on the guys around you; they're going to do their job, and we'll get that corrected. I have a lot of confidence in Miles moving forward.
And finally, on the offensive side, Hunter Parsons, the first touchdown for a tight end this year. That's a little bit different than it's been the last couple of years, but feels like his athleticism was really on display on that catch and run.
Yeah, I think it was Hunter's best game so far, and the touchdown was one piece to it. He can run, he's the biggest of all our tight ends too, and he got out in the open, which hasn't happened all too often, but he really showed off his speed. But I thought he blocked really well on the perimeter as well, and he's one of those third-year sophomores right now that we need to continue to see improvement on a weekly basis, and I think he's after it.
We're going to talk to Hunter Parsons here in a little bit. He made another tremendous play tracking down Nate Bell. Not easy to do for a TN tracking down a speedster like that. We see Hunter Parsons really kind of show some of that elite athleticism in a play like that.
Yeah, I think Hunter's, he's taken it upon himself as a senior to, do everything he can to have his best year and really contribute. He's become a starter. And beyond becoming a starter, I think he's really been an impact player to this point. And, we'll need that to continue. That front line of, the defensive line seniors right now are really playing at a high level, and we need that out of all of them each and every game.
Now, this was also a team in Eastern Washington running two quarterbacks out there. Was this a type of thing where they were really testing some of your discipline on defense when they're moving the ball around like that?
Yeah, that's what that type of offense, I guess, tests is. There's a lot of trickery, I guess, involved in it. A lot of deception potentially, and I thought our guys, maintained their discipline, stayed home, whatever you want to say. I think we really thwarted any attempt to take advantage of, guys being out of place or in the wrong spot.
All right, let's turn our attention to Northern Arizona. First road trip for the Big Sky season. Good team, experienced team. Tell me a little bit about Ty Pennington and how he operates this offense as their quarterback.
Yeah, the most experienced quarterback, in our league, and he had a really good year last year. We didn't see him, but he came on the scene and was newcomer of the year, all that. He's a dual threat guy, but more so than anything, he's a really good quarterback, just generally speaking, as far as decisions go. He can make all the throws. He can run it if he needs to. Just a guy you see that appears to be in complete control of what they're trying to do.
On the defensive side, seems like they're running a pretty complicated movement-type defense. What are you seeing from them over there?
Yeah, a lot of pre-snap movement. So we'll have to be very good at communicating for sure what the front is as we see it, and then once the ball is snapped, they're pressure oriented for sure. Like to twist alignment, those types of things. So again, discipline, communication, in an environment that could be a little bit loud will be very important for our guys.
Anything you guys do differently to get ready to go up to 7,000, 7,500 feet up in Flagstaff?
Well, the fact that we're at about 5,000, I don't think there's much we need to do or can do. I think we have a well-conditioned team, and that's a lot of months worth of work. And then, I think going inside of that environment with the noise, we'll practice, with noise as much as we can to prepare ourselves for the potential issues that might cause.
All right, well, here we go, getting ready for the first road trip in the Big Sky. Coach, appreciate the time and the insights.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Grace Lawrence rejoins us, and then Hunter Parsons joins the show on the Bobcat Insider.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Well, as miraculous as the 57 points that the Bobcat offense put up, this Bobcat defense has continued to play at a championship level as of late. And Grace, you look back at these last 3 games since that Oregon contest, 1 touchdown allowed by this Bobcat defense.
Yeah, I mean, since FCS play has started, this defense has only allowed their opponents 10 points per game. They're playing at such an elite clip, and what stood out to me most is how cohesive the unit is as a whole, from your D-line to your linebackers to your secondary. So much depth we've seen really playing as a unit.
Absolutely, and when you are playing as that unit, we're seeing more takeaways. We're seeing more turnovers, and really, last year there was times where there weren't a lot of takeaways and turnovers. There wasn't a bunch early in the year, but now these last 2 weeks, we've seen 3 takeaways by the Bobcat defense.
Yeah, that's such a good point about last season. They really started to emphasize it, and I don't know if it's the hat that Coach Howe brought along, but that's an extra incentive to wear that really cool takeaway hat, that cowboy hat, for a team situated in the West, you know?
Absolutely, and a lot of times you're getting some of these takeaways because of that pressure from the Bobcat defensive line, which is an absolute stalwart right now. They've been so much fun to watch. They've got such a great lineage over these last couple of years, and I mean, are you not entertained by this Bobcat D-line?
Oh, I'm definitely entertained. That's Hunter Parsons' signature celebration. We'll be talking to him here in a minute, but he's one of those guys who waited in the wings. I mean, you wonder, where do these guys come from? It's because they're waiting behind other All-Americans, and they're an All-American waiting in the wings. So talking to Hunter Parsons coming up after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence joined alongside Hunter Parsons today. Thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, congrats on a huge win to start conference play. You know, you guys held Eastern to a field goal. You guys have been playing at a really dominant level. Just take me through the win on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it was a big win that we really needed. We were excited to get into conference play, and I thought the defense played great. Everyone did their 111th, and so I was proud of that.
It was the best week of practice you guys have had all season. Why was that practice so good last week?
I think it was because we don't think we played to our standard, especially against Mercyhurst. So we came into that week thinking we needed to practice better. We always want to practice how we play, and so yeah.
A shutout isn't good enough. That's always, you know, the standards high when that's
Right.
the case. You know, what was it in particular as a defense, you know, getting them off the field so well you guys did on Saturday? Was that something you guys honed in last week?
Yeah, like I said, I think it was just everyone doing their 111th. We were gap sound, and everyone played their butts off. I mean, everyone was running to the football, and yeah, like I said, it comes from our preparation. So we practice hard, and so that's what came out of it.
Yeah, talking about your journey, you're someone who waited your turn, and it sure has paid off these past couple years, specifically, you know, to start this season. Tell me kind of what it was like waiting in the wings and then really being able to get your turn.
Yeah, I mean, we've always had really good DNs here at Montana State, so really just learning from guys like Daniel Hardy and Amandre, and then when they left, I was learning from Brody and Ben Seymour, and it was just learning from those older guys, and it's really truly helped me become a more consistent player, and has helped me play to the best of my ability.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was your biggest takeaway from being behind those guys, the way they went about their business?
Yeah, I would say exactly that, just the way they went about their business. All of those guys were extremely hard workers, and so they worked really hard in the weight room. They paid attention to detail, and I took that away from them.
Yeah, and then talk to me about Coach Batt fully taking over your line this year, and then Coach Howe in general, as always. He's the DC now, but he was the head of the line for so long. What stands out most about both those coaches coaching you guys up?
Yeah, I think Coach Bapp's done a great job of taking over the D-line. Obviously, he was the assistant D-line coach last year, working under Howe, and I think that's a testament to Howe and how Howe's trained Coach Bapp, and what Coach Bapp's learned from Howe. And Coach Bapp is a phenomenal D-line coach now because of it, in my opinion. And then Coach Howe's transition to DC has been amazing. I mean, we've had a shutout against Mercyhurst, and then Eastern only scored 3 points. So he's been doing very good, and I think it's a testament to both of their hard works.
Yeah, your defense works as such a unit when you think about your line, the linebackers, the secondary. What's it like to be so cohesive in all three phases, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what we want, you know. we rely on the back end to make plays, and they rely on us to knock alignment back and stay in our gaps and make plays as well. So.
And you've got one of the best celebrations on the team, if not the best. Are you not entertained? Take me through the backstory of it, how it came about last year, and how you've honed it in this year. You've been able to do it a couple of times.
Well, I think it just came from, it came from the movie Gladiator. I mean, obviously, I love that movie, and I watched it last year before a game, and so that's what I used for my first sack of last year, and then I just stuck with it. So. And then I saw that Justin Lamson tried stealing it from me, but we're not going to let that happen. So.
No, you got to keep it with you and with the D-line when you make a sack.
Yeah.
Talking about this week, a ranked matchup down in Flagstaff. How have you guys been preparing for Northern Arizona?
Well, I mean, we still got a lot more work to do. It's only Tuesday, but we've been watching film and honing in on the details, and we had a good practice this morning, so we got a lot more work to do though because NAU is a good team.
Yeah, it's such a good team, a really good quarterback in Ty Pennington. They've had a lot of consistency in a league that's seen some turnover this offseason. So I guess what did you take most from the first 2 weeks of this season, playing two good quarterbacks that you can bring into Flagstaff on Saturday?
Yeah, I think playing against good quarterbacks, especially guys who can scramble, you really want to stay in your rush lanes and close the pocket. And I think we've done a good job of that, not letting the quarterbacks escape the pocket so they could make plays. And yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to affecting the quarterback when you play a good quarterback. And I think when you really truly affect the quarterback, it helps your team win the game.
What makes a dome challenging to play in? Because this conference has a few of them.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think domes could get pretty hot and a little bit humid in there, depending on the dome. I remember NAU's got some kind of soft turf, which is a little bit weird, and then they have high elevation, so that's always tough. And we talked about it earlier this week to deal with the high elevation. You really want to hydrate throughout the week and get good sleep.
I gotta take that into account as well when I'm down there.
Yeah.
It's your senior year. I'm sure it feels like it's flying by. We're almost midway through the regular season. What's stood out most to you this final year?
I would say the guys on the team have just been really great this season. We lost a lot of guys, or a lot of seniors last year, and I wasn't sure how this team would be in terms of like leadership standpoints and how guys would operate within the team, because we have a very young team. But the young guys truly worked hard this season, or this summer, in the weight room, and it's really paying off for them. So I think this team's really coming together.
Yeah, this team has only had 3 conference losses under Vegan, no matter what turnover you guys see. I guess, how important is he at the helm for you guys year in and year out to have such a consistent level of play?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Vegan's great. He's since I've been here, I mean, I've learned a lot from him, just for what type of man he is. He's consistent day in and day out, and he really works his butt off for this program, and we, as players, we really appreciate him.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Well, good luck this Saturday at
Thank
NAU, and stay tuned. Keaton and I will be previewing that matchup coming up after this.
Welcome back to Bobcat Insider, sponsored by First Interstate Bank.
Welcome back into the Bobcat Insider. Grace Lawrence joined alongside Keaton Galogli, and you definitely find yourself when you're on the road as a team, especially against a ranked opponent. And Vegan's so consistent since he's been at the helm at Montana State. 30-3 in Big Sky play, but those 3 losses have come to ranked opponents on the road.
And that's exactly the test that's sitting here in front of Montana State, going to number 13 Northern Arizona this weekend for the 3 p.m. kickoff. And Grace, Let's get into some of the keys to this game. I'll start. This is an NAU defense that has a lot of movement, a lot of great athletes, and we know early on this year this Bobcat offensive line struggled with some of that movement up front, so that's going to be a really big test. What are you looking for?
I think defense travels, and for Montana State, that's going to be key. Coach Howe has had been playing at such an elite clip. I think this defensive line, if they can get after Ty Pennington early after that offensive line, that's going to be key for them.
All right, well, we'll see if this Bobcat defensive line can continue to show up and show out, especially against an NAU offensive line that is battling some injuries as we head into this ranked road matchup on Saturday with a 3 p.m. kickoff. For Grace Lawrence, I'm Keaton Galogly. We'll talk again next week on the Bobcat Insider.